Halloween is Grinch Night, also titled It's Grinch Night for, I believe, the VHS release, is a 1977 animated short directed by Gerard Baldwin, based, of course, on the work by Dr. Seuss. And this is apparently a prequel to How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and because it's Halloween night, the Grinch is up to no good and he's going to be causing harm and damage for basically the residents of Whoville. And it sounds like it could be as interesting as How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but to be honest, I thought it was really poor, really terrible. The quality of the animation was not brilliant. It's not too bad compared to the animation of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but I feel like just here and there it was a little bit choppier, not as well edited, didn't flow quite as well with the editing between scenes as well. The actual narrative was quite dull, and I didn't really get the impression that the Grinch was that bothered about causing problems for people. Sometimes yes, but generally speaking, I didn't get a strong sense of his personality here compared to the Grinch and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And granted, maybe it's not fair to compare the two, but this was released after the fact, so they had plenty of time to work on, fine-tuning the character and finding the best way to represent him, which of course they did, I believe, brilliantly in How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This one, I just feel like the character was very flat and not very interesting. And the character of Euchariah really bugged me. And normally I love Dr. Seuss's rhymes. I've mentioned before, I didn't grow up with Dr. Seuss. We shared the same birthday, but I don't think I'd seen any of his works or indeed read any. I think my introduction to Dr. Seuss was Friends, when they were talking about green eggs and ham. And over the years, I've dipped in and out of his works, and I've really enjoyed his use of rhyme and his meter, and everything seems to flow very well. That's not the case with Halloween is Grinch Night, and I'm going to assume that, he is credited as writing the teleplay, so I'm going to assume that he wrote it all. But do let me know if there are any liberties where they've maybe tweaked something. But Euchariah rhyming with Josiah, and it really bugged me because it just was very repetitive and it didn't sound very good, and the meter wasn't very good, so it wasn't very pleasant to listen to either. And I guess I'm feeling like a bit of a Grinch towards this, which is massively ironic. But I was expecting something the quality of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and honestly, the pacing was quite bad. The Grinch as a character, I did not get the true sense of who he was, or quite how Grinchy we knew him to be. Maybe you could argue, since it's a prequel, he wasn't quite the Grinch at this point, and he became the classic Grinch by How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Euchariah as a character just didn't move me, didn't speak to me at all. So unfortunately, I'm just a little bit disappointed with this one.